Hi everyone, this is Alec from AJay Farms, and I'm here with a very exciting update. It is finally warm enough to start planting things outside. I've been checking the weather forecast and the extended forecast pretty much every day, multiple times a day, and our last frost date is just about a week out. It's about 9 days out, and there are no more projected frost dates. Now, of course, this could change because the weather is a little crazy. I mean, the forecast has honestly been changing almost every 5 minutes, but I think it's finally warm enough, and it's almost 80 degrees today, so I came home from work and I'm going to go start working out in the garden. Today, I'm going to be starting some cool weather crops. I've got my radishes up here right in the front. Really excited to start those. I actually did try planting radishes outside earlier, and it snowed. It actually snowed, and we got about 6 inches of snow, which is very unusual for this time of the year. But I have radishes in the front. I've got kale. I got my trowel, and behind the kale is the mustard. I have beets, and I have the kaleidoscope carrots that I bought earlier. I'm going to be planting the daikon radish over here and the kaleidoscope carrots in a container because I want those to get as big as possible. But I got on my plant tags, I have my fertilizer, which I'm going to be adding now, so by the time it breaks down, the plants will be able to have access to it as they need it. And I'm honestly really excited. I'm just really excited. I can barely talk. But yeah, I'm going to be planting those, and I also want to show you what's growing on in the grow tent, because the plants, they're taking over. They're very, very large, and I'm definitely excited to be able to start hardening them off soon because I don't have any more space. So let's go check those out. So here's the grow tent. As you can see, it is pretty full, and there are plants everywhere, especially in this little corner. I got a tray. It was an 18 cell tray of, I believe, 2 to 3-inch containers, and they have exploded. To take a closer look, we have some broccoli on the edge, some habanero peppers, cabbage, I believe white cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and the cherry tomatoes. Now, I didn't expect them to get as big as they did as quickly, because I've really been struggling with my other tomatoes. As you can probably see, these tomatoes I planted in early February 8th, I believe, and I've had problem after problem with them as I'm figuring out the soil, the watering, the fertilizing. They're much smaller, they're wilting a little bit, but I think I finally figured out what's going on. My first problem was I had a phosphorus deficiency, so the tomatoes turned purple. Like, the leaves actually turned purple. And unfortunately, when they recover from those leaves do tend to die off, so there was loss of foliage, which of course means slower growth. And then I was suffering from overwatering, so the plants were wilting, they were just not happy, but I figured it out. They are now recovering. The old leaves that were suffering really badly from the overwatering are going to fall off, and they have been, but they're still growing. The new growth looks great, and honestly, I'm just going to let them continue to get bigger. They are a little overcrowded, so they will be growing a little slower, but hopefully with the warming temperatures I can put them outside sooner and definitely get some cooler weather crops out of here, like almost this entire tray, and get a little bit more space. But in the back over there I've got some, I believe those are the sweet Spanish onions, and I have the other container up here. I actually finally separated those so they're not as crowded, and I will let these bulb up, so I'll let them continue to grow, and within the next week or so I'll start hardening those off and take them outside. And then we have, as I like to call it, my basil forest. We have 12 plants, I believe, of Genovese basil and 3 of sweet basil. The sweet basil I might take outside just because I might leave it inside. I do want to keep a few plants in here, but for now, they are going to be in here. And then these little wispy things are the red onions. I did have more, but as I said, I'm still learning with the cocoa coir. It holds a lot of water, so it's very easy to overwater the plants. And then up in this container right here, I have the golden beets. I've never grown them before, so I did want to try to grow them in a container. They were very slow at first, but now they're taking off. They have a lot of foliage, the stems started thickening up. I don't know how well you can see in there, but hopefully they will start bulbing up a little bit soon, getting nice big roots, which they'll only get so big in a small container, but it will be nice to see how they grow. And in the back we have the eggplant. It is a little wilted. I do need to give it a bit of water. But I also suffered a little bit of sunburn. Like, these lights are very bright, so you gotta make sure you don't give them too much light. And then we have all of our peppers. I actually did top all of them. I still have to take some of the larger foliage off. Oh, it's tomato. But I've topped all of them. They have started pushing out side shoots, and those side shoots have gotten big enough to where I can take the main foliage off and let those grow. Also, the little habanero pepper that I started in the peat pellet's still doing really well. I also started a few cucumber plants, though one of them has started to germinate. I also started some pumpkins. Those are just starting to come up today, so that's really cool. And then I also did have to restart a few of the tomato varieties. I had to replant the Roma tomatoes, I believe, for the third time. And I replanted the super steaks, which I don't have them in here because they were doing very badly. But I replanted those, and hopefully those will do better this time. It's also closer to the last frost date, so I can get them outside sooner. And I have saved the biggest plant for last. The one type of tomato I had no problems with this entire time have been my cherry tomatoes. This plant, I started the seed on January 30th, so it's almost exactly 2 months old, so 8 weeks or so. And it is just starting to push out little flower buds. They're too small to capture on camera, but somewhere in here, actually I might be able to, let me see. Hang on. And no, they're a little too small to capture, but in there are little itty bitty flower buds starting to grow, so it'd be really fun to see those soon. I do think I'll actually leave them on. Cherry tomatoes are pretty small. It's still a lot of energy taken from the plant, but it's a good size. I'll leave a few on just to see how big they grow. If they grow really well, I'll let it continue to flower and fruit inside. If not, I'll pull them off. Definitely get a bigger container because tomatoes do have large root systems. This is a 6-inch pot, and you should really grow them in 18-inch pots, so I'll see how it does, and if it does well, I'll let it go, and if not, once I get all of this out, I'll put it in a bigger container, or I'll take it outside as well. But yes, I wanted to give you a quick update of what's been going on. I know we've been pretty quiet, but it's also been very cold, and the weather's finally warming up, so I'm going to go take advantage of the sunlight and the warmth, and I'm going to go start planting some stuff outside. Thanks for watching.